Mr. Nunes.
Thank you. Director Ray, welcome to the committee. I'm going to just direct some comments to you to begin with. In February 2018, this committee released a memo revealing malfeasance in the FBI's FISA warrant application to spy on Trump campaign associate Carter Page, a U.S. citizen. Specifically, the memo revealed that the FBI used the discredited Steele dossiers, an essential part of the applications, but it did not inform the FISA court that the Democrat National Committee, the Clinton campaign, funded the dossier, that Steele said he was desperate that Trump lose the election, or that Steele was fired by the FBI as a source. The FBI continued to collect information from him via Justice Department official Bruce Orr, whose wife was being paid by Fusion GPS, whose money was coming ultimately from the Democrats themselves, to develop opposition research on Trump and feed it into your organization. All these abuses, as well as a slew of others, were later confirmed by Inspector General Horowitz. However, when our memo was released, the FBI, under your leadership, issued a statement casting doubt on its accuracy due to, quote, material omissions. And that's what I'd like to discuss with you today, Mr. Ray, material omissions, a topic that I think your agency has been familiar with in recent years. IG Horowitz found a host of material omissions by the FBI on this topic, the Carter Page FISA warrant application. You accepted his findings and claimed to implement reforms to prevent such abuses from reoccurring. However, Republicans on this committee and in the Senate had actually brought this to your attention shortly after you were sworn in. Instead of quickly acknowledging and fixing the mistakes, the FBI has resorted to stonewalling, obstruction, half-truths, and in most cases, outright lies during our ongoing investigation. I want to remind you in January 2018, you and Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein met with then Speaker Ryan in an attempt to shut down our investigation altogether. There was also a meeting in May 2018 at the Department of Justice with you, myself, Speaker Ryan, Chairman Gowdy, and others, in which we asked you when the FBI first began investigating Republicans, what surveillance equipment was used, and questions about the use of informants to spy on Republicans. The FBI's answers were not accurate at the time and contained numerous material omissions. Furthermore, through much of the investigation, critical information like the fact that Christopher Steele had been fired as an FBI source was withheld from us. Another material admission. Despite the FBI's obstruction, the truth got out anyway, which did far more damage to the FBI's standing than if the FBI had simply just owned up to the problems when they first learned of them. After Horowitz detailed the stunning scale of the FBI malfeasance, you committed to take disciplinary action wherever warranted. It's somehow unsurprising that we've seen very few signs that such actions have been taken. Americans need to have confidence that the premier law enforcement agency is honest, politically neutral, and quickly fixes mistakes. Unfortunately, we don't have much confidence that that's being done. Let's not forget exactly what happened. The government used the Department of Justice and the FBI as weapons against the opposition party, a hallmark of banana republics. I will submit questions for the record for you in the sake of time, which I will make public. Hopefully, the answers will contain no further material omissions, and hopefully it doesn't take several years to respond. I want to move, so I'll submit those for the record at a later date, Mr. Ray. Director General Nakasone, I'm going to give you 3 articles that were in the Washington Post. One was from November 9th, 2020, one on January 17th, and January 21st of this year. Are you? Are you familiar with Michael Ellis? He was the former general counsel to the Republicans on this committee.
Ranking member, I am.
Did you ever discuss Mr. Ellis's situation with any of the reporters or elected Democrats or anyone outside the NSA, or did you authorize anyone to do so?
Ranking member, I did not.
Are you aware of anyone at the NSA who spoke to reporters or anyone outside the agency about Mr. Ellis's situation?
Ranking member, I'm not.
I'm going to switch topics, General, as it relates to Chinese activities related to election interference. During your time as director of NSA, have you directly or indirectly limited any of this reporting to make its way through intelligence channels?
Ranking member, I have not. In fact, with regards to the election, I have been actively involved with both the 2018 midterms and the 2020 with my analysts and members of what was then the Russia Small Group in 2018 and in 2020, the Election Security Group.
Switching topics to a different issue. This will be my final question for you, General. Towards the end of the Trump administration, have you ever authorized or directed the recall of a report on the basis that it was unflattering to a senior U.S. political or military leader?
Ranking member, in terms of our reporting for the National Security Agency, there are a number of reasons that we would recall a report. Perhaps the distribution is wrong. Perhaps the tradecraft is bad. Perhaps we have further information to add to that, or perhaps that it has incorrect information within it. I would have to go back and take a look in terms of anything that has been recalled to get back to you on that question, sir.
Were you ever asked by a senior political or military leader to recall a report or suppress a report?
Absolutely not, ranking member.
Okay, so we'll follow up also with questions for the record on these topics and probably others. I'm sure my colleagues have other questions. How much time do I have left, Mr. Chair?
As much time as you need.
Well, I'll come back to this. I'll yield back and we'll go.
Mr. Himes.